G'day, welcome to the channel. How are we all feeling this week? Bit tough than last week, eh? Just remember, zoom out. If in doubt, zoom out. Look, we'll touch on some of the things that are happening around the crypto domain in the last week. We'll look at the markets, we'll have a look at the indicators for the week. We'll look at the categories especially and how the memes are still leading the charge in that regard. You've got consensus going on over the last few days. There's been a lot of news coming out of consensus. You've got Eric Trump saying how crypto is going to take over from banks and things like that. You've had the big Coinbase hack, the cyber hack. I love the way that Brian Armstrong came out and he said today that the $20 million that they're asking for as a ransom, he's turned it on its head. He's offered $20 million as a reward for capturing them and leading to a conviction. Like that's a great way to deal with it, I think, because we need to stop this stuff from happening. And the other thing it's led to is a bit more, you're seeing it on Exhibit, people continually saying, get your tokens, get your money off of the centralized exchanges. Get a hardware wallet, get a Tangent, get a Ledger, get a Tracer, just get a cold wallet, put them into cold storage. You then have control, not your keys, not your crypto, as the saying goes. But look, they're the leading exchange, Coinbase, in the US. They disclosed the cyber attack straight away. Armstrong came straight out and spoke about it openly. There's estimated, it's only a small amount of their customers that have been impacted, is my understanding, like 1%. But the estimated losses could be anywhere between 180 million to 400 million is what they're saying, right? Now, Coinbase has come out and said they're going to reimburse anyone that loses any funds, which they sort of have to do, right? The breach involved overseas employees, and we know they've got call centers all over the world. Now, you only need to bribe one or two, a few of these employees, and a lot of them are in the lower socioeconomic areas, right? Which is why they've offshored them in the first place. But they obviously found a few bad apples that they were able to bribe. They were able to get information. Now, it wasn't seed phrases and things like that, but it was people's names, addresses, date of birth, I assume, stuff like that. Like normal stuff that probably relates to questions that you'd be asked when you ring up to prove that who you are. I did see a good one saying credit to the hackers that they're able to get in contact with Coinbase support. I use Coinbase. I've never had to use their support, but I have heard a bit about how bad it is. And look, this is all on the back of Bybit's $1.5 billion hack, right? And that was like earlier this year. And that was dubbed the largest crypto heist ever. So it does raise concerns around that security and the employee vetting that goes into place. And look, it's even brought up obviously at Consensus because that's on at the moment as well. And, TRM Labs Ari Redboard, he praised Coinbase in the response to the model and the handling and how they handled the incident. I think it's great that they've come out and said, look, we're going to give $20 million to whoever helps us catch these people and convict them. The other things that we've seen in the market this week, we've seen like the Bitcoin ETF. So the inflows are continuing to surge, and that signals that institutional FOMO for Bitcoin ETFs, it saw its largest inflows last week for quite a while, and it's pushing up the total assets that are in those ETF funds, right? Which is good to see. Again, it just rolls into that adoption. It rolls into the growing mainstream adoption. The other big thing was Coinbase inclusion as part of the S&P 500. So that's absolutely massive as well. You've had the SEC regulatory shift again under Paul Atkins. So that sparks optimism in the market. And what they're pushing for is the clearer crypto regulations, which everyone has been asking for forever and a day, right? Focusing on token classifications. So there will be different classifications you would think for some of these tokens. And easier institutional trading. So at the moment, it's still hard for the institutions to a degree on what they can get involved in. You had the Ripple settlement as well, which was massive. That saw XRP surge. I think it's like 15% or something like that year to date. It surged up to $2.40, maybe a bit over that, which is great for those XRP army that people have been sticking by that token for a long, long time. But the other thing is it gives them a bit of hope that it's going to unlock billions of institutional money coming in. You've got JP Morgan, Ondo, and Chainlink. So they've announced a $100 billion blockchain tokenization platform. But the other thing is, as usual, you get people on XNet that they're putting out a bit of caution around the overregulation, and it might stifle the innovation or the timeline for implementation of all the innovation. And the regulation obviously remains uncertain, but it's quite important one way or the other around how we see the long-term growth in the market from a price perspective and one from a innovation perspective, and they're not necessarily joined. They are separate. So one might grow price while stifling the innovation, or you might get the innovation and the price might suffer. So. But other big news is obviously the midnight token airdrop. Now, around Cardano, Charles has spoken about this. It was spoken about at Consensus as well. What we're seeing is the Glacier drop is what it is. It's 2 tokens. It's Night and Dust. Now, what they're going to do, though, it's not just restricted to the Cardano, so the ADA holders. The ADA holders will receive the largest share of the Night token, right, from the distribution. But it's going to be eligible for Bitcoin holders, Ethereum holders, XRP, Solana, BNB, Avalanche, even BAT, like Basic Attention Token, Matic or POL as we call it now. And they say that the airdrop is going to be like 35 million wallets. Just comprehend that, 35 million wallets on the 8 major blockchains. And it could be even more. They're saying it could extend to 135 million accounts. So, a broader inclusivity brings more people into that token. I like the way it's being done. I like the way that it's including other blockchains. That's how I'd like to see crypto move more to that. And it's going to be, they're working out like how the wallets will work, people that are staked, how that's going to work, all those sorts of things. Now, there are the 2 tokens. As I said, you've got the Night token, which is going to be the primary governance token, I think the main usage token. Then you've got one that's called Dust, okay? And that's, from what they've said so far, it's going to be like non-transferable token for private transactions. And it might only be going to ADA holders, but I don't know the full details around that yet. But anyway, let's have a look at what the market's doing at the moment. And I'll put my seeing eyes on so we can get a better view. Well, I can get a better view. You guys can probably see it fine on your screens. Anyway, what are we seeing here? We're seeing, Bitcoin up 1.2%. The trending token, you've got Notcoin. You've got Department of Government, I'm assuming that's efficiency, 46% up as a top gainer. We saw red yesterday and day before. We're seeing a bit of red today. But again, as I've said before, zoom out. Have a look at the 7-day. That's what this is. This is our weekly update, right? So weekly update, 7-day, a lot of green coming through here. Yes, there is some red for today, but for the week, we're still looking good. Hyperliquid still doing quite well, 12.9% up. You've got Monero, which is at 14.3, so that's a privacy proof of work token. Pi, I was mining that on my phone, as were lots and lots of other people. That's up 28.7, so hopefully people are doing well from that. Pepe 25 for the week. Casper's up 22.2, so that's on the back of that crescendo upgrade. And I know the market's up as a whole, but that's done quite well. It's good to see. Just under 12 cents. What else we got in here? We've got, Arbitrum. Bonk's up 8.5. As I said, though, the meme coins are leading from a category perspective, only marginally, but they are leading. Like they have content. Look at this dog with hat, 51%, Floki 12.5%. So the memes are doing well, and If we go into the crypto bubbles and have a look at the crypto bubbles now, we can see that it's a lot of red on the day. So we know that. We said there was red on the day. If we go into the week, it starts to look a little bit better. You got your whiff, as I mentioned, Caspar 9.2, but still a bit of red there. But zoom out to monthly, okay? Because we've just come off the back of the week that was quite a positive week, right? Those days have started to roll off now. But for the month, we're still well up. We're seeing, whiff, Pepe, Bonk, Shib, all the memes doing quite well still. Floki down here as well. Doge, 41%. They're just big numbers. Nears at 39, Taos at 83. If we go into the 200, right, we see again on the day, red, a lot of red. You've got Toshi there. For the week, again, we're getting a bit of green falling back in. But then we hit the month again, okay? So the month, again, Turbo, starting to hit it. Peanut, another one starting to hit it. Popcat, doing well. Brett, doing well. Mew, doing well. Then Dog, Baby Doge. They're all, like you are seeing a lot of the meat snack over here. There's also a snack NFT, which if you get the NFT, you're then able to stake it, I think it is, but you get at Mine's snack, which is a great utility for an NFT. Not many NFTs have that utility, but yeah. So we're seeing that green on the monthly. Again, we're seeing it here on the monthly. Definitely more green, but again, this one again the week's green overall as a total area, but that's because of this launch coin. I haven't even looked at that. Look at that. But yeah, Mudang, again, 38.9, the memes, they just seem to continue to perform. And when the market performs, the memes perform as well, but tend to be outperforming in some instances. If we look at the indicators for the day and the week, we can see fear and greed's at 74. So for the week, it's up from 70 and it's up on yesterday as well, which is good to see. The Coinbase ranking is down today. Now that's one we monitor for, as it climbs, we're expecting that there's more interest in crypto, more people are looking for the app, getting on the app, all those sorts of things. So we expect to see that climb up and get in that top 10, top 5 sort of apps for a period of time when we're near the peak. Whether it happens again, I don't know, but it definitely happened in the last cycle. We've seen dominance break that 60% again. We'd rather see that start to come down if we're looking for that alt run to happen. But ETH's come down, so there is a bit of an offset. The total market cap has come down a little bit as well, and the volume has dropped. Still up above 100, but it's dropped. Your monthly returns are still positive for this month, which is good to see. If we look around the other indicators, 3 of them are flat, and the other one's up, one down, but only slightly. So it's not, it's not a massive impact, really, and we don't expect to see that in such a shorter time frame. But again, we monitor those, and the ETF flows were at 130 when I checked, and we can look at that now. So I use the farside.co.uk to give us the ETF flow, and we can see here that we are getting, if we go for the week, which really is from the 12th, this is still open at the moment, but from the 12th, we can see we've had a couple of decent days. We did have a down day on, I guess that's the Tuesday, but overall it's been positive. We are seeing, therefore, the total number grow to nearer to 42 at the moment. Another one I looked at is I've been looking at this ROI, just to look at the different bull run years, I guess, if you like, and just to get a bit of a feel for how we're treading. Now, we can see in 13, and this is like as we hit to that back end, and that's that Q4 area that I spoke about in yesterday's video. So if you haven't seen that, have a look at my video from yesterday. You can see the back end, and 13 was obviously higher, and we've had that diminishing returns. 2017 again was towards the back end of that year. Now, 2021 we didn't get that. Now we know we had the double top, But there was a lot of stuff that, and I'm in the camp where a few people are, where I feel like we were robbed a little bit of the proper bull run, the bull run we were expecting, and that can be due to all the FTX stuff and the China stuff and all the stuff that happened in that year. And we can say there's similar stuff to that in other bull run years, but it was just a calamity. It was the stuff that came together. It's like, could that happen again? Maybe. But if it hadn't have happened, could we have seen this green line actually end up here somewhere? And it's a woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? We don't know. But, maybe it's the optimist in me and a bit of hope in that I'd like to feel that it would have performed a little bit different and we were done out a little bit of a bull run. May not be the case, so again. But if we're looking at where we are, and yes, we get diminishing returns and we understand that, have we already had our run? I don't think so. Not when I look at these numbers. I don't feel like 2025 has already had its run and it peaked back here in January. I just don't feel that. Or I don't see it in the numbers. It's not so much just a feeling, although, some people go with their gut. But I do think we're going to see this come out up here somewhere, and it's going to be towards the back end of the year for some of the reasons I gave in yesterday's video, but also what I'm seeing here. I definitely feel that's what we're going to see anyway when we get to that. If we move into the categories, okay, these are the categories and they're done on a weekly. The volume is daily, but these are the ones, and we'll look at this each week on the Saturday. We can see a lot of red. There's a couple of little bits of green, nothing to write home about. But again, even with all of that, the memes are the ones that have performed the best. Not only that, the meme market cap went up slightly. They're 1.3% up. And remember, everything we do is time sensitive. So from when I've recorded this video, these will have changed, no doubt, from when it's posted or when you could be watching it. But for this week, memes are the performer. And the worst was NFT. It was down 6.9%. Again, not terrible. What I did notice with these is, if you go back and look at last week's, a lot of them went down quite a bit in volume. And some of them, like storage, dumped in market cap, or, they all went down in market cap. Is another thing I'll take out. So market caps went down except memes. There's a bit of red in the market across all of them, apart from Layer 1, DeFi, and meme. And Layer 1, DeFi are at 0.2, so I would call them flat anyway. And the daily volumes, if I remember correctly, for all of them went down. And we haven't seen volume drop, but the daily volumes have dropped quite considerably. Stable coins remain flat, which was interesting, okay? They remain flat. I think the volume still dropped, but they remain flat. And we're looking for that number to slowly come down as we hit into an altcoin market, as people start to move those stable coins, hopefully back into the market and into those altcoins as they move. But overall, the memes are definitely leading the charge, and there's huge communities around those memes. Every chain has a meme on it and a meme community, whether it's Casper with like Nacho and Casper, whether it's Avalanche with Cockinu, whether it's Solana with one of the millions they got, whether it's Myro from days gone by, whether it's the Trump token that's launched on there. You've got Moodang and that. You've got Ethereum with its meme coins. You've got the Turbo on the AI. You've got so many. Cardano's got Sneck. Base doesn't even have a chain and it's got the Brett token. You got Pepe on Ethereum, which is of course the boys club with your Brett, your Andy, your Landwolf, your Pepe. So there's all these narratives around the memes themselves. 90% of which will go to zero, or lose 90% of value in the bear market. But they bring people in. People love them. People love the community. People love gambling around them. I hold memes, as I said, they're 5%, less than 5% of my portfolio, but I definitely hold them. I think they're good to have as part of any portfolio, as the degen part of your portfolio. but just expect that whatever you put into them, you could lose. Okay, so that's the only thing. The other thing I like to look at now and bringing in for the weekly is, what is going on around the next week. Okay, so you can get this information from CoinMarketCal. So we can see here some of the big things. This is only on the top 100 coins, so you can filter on different things. You can look at meme coins, top 300, top 500, whatever. Due to time constraints and that, I'm only looking at the top 100. What's happening? It tells you things that like unlocks that are happening, integrations. All those Aptos has an integration, Fast Token has an unlock. So then you go, well, how much of the token, what percentage is being unlocked? Could it impact the price? It's 4.6%. You got a node operator call for Lido. Official Trump, you got an announcement. So the next era of Trump will be announced at the dinner on the 22nd of May. So keep an eye out for that if you're a Trump holder. Theta Network are doing an AMA. So if you're into Theta, jump on the AMA, have a look at that. You've got Ondo looking there. Chainlink, you've got Link Lab on the 22nd of May, which coincides with the Trump one. They're hosting a lab at 10 p.m. UTC. This one's up every week. I think it's just to remind people, and this is something to be aware of from an overall market perspective, because it impacts Bitcoin, okay? And materially to a degree, right? But the date was moved from October 31st, 24 to October 31, 25 as the deadline. Like, they're releasing them over time. They're not dumping them all on that date. But those releases are still happening to old holders of the Mt. Gox hack, right? So just be aware that that's still in play as well. So that's some of the stuff that's coming up over the next week to be aware of. But of course, go to CoinMarketCal if you want more information, or you want your coin's not there, your token's not there, and you want to look at what's happening with it. There's a lot of different categories, as you can see, that you can go into and have a look. So yeah. Look, guys, overall, I'm still positive around the market. I'm still in the camp that we're getting this bull run, and the bull run's coming in Q4 would be where I still feel it's coming, and all my indicators. If you have a look at that other video, especially where I talk about why I think Q4 is the answer. I'll get something glare off. But yeah, it's positive. The market's positive. The regulations are positive. The sentiment's positive. Even on the red days, we've got positive fear and greed, and the fear and greed's growing more and more to the greed side. Institutions are coming in. You've got the corporates coming in. You've got acquisitions like Coinbase making acquisitions. Robinhood, there's just so many things, the states with their reserves, and the Trump family being behind it, other countries buying Bitcoin, putting reserves together. There's just a whole bunch of stuff around the market coming together. So overall, I'm still very positive. Overall, it's been a bit of an up and down week, but that's crypto, right? It gets you a bit battle hardened when you've been doing it long enough that you just sort of, it doesn't really affect you too much, especially these smaller moves to the downside. But look, stay positive, stay the course. Remember, stick to your strategy. Whatever your strategy is, stick to it. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anybody else. Make up your own mind. I'm not a financial advisor, and neither are any of them. No one knows when the top's going to be. No one knows when the bottom's going to be. You do you. Make your own strategy. I use indicators. You use whatever you want to use. But again, for me, I'm still pretty positive. I think we're heading in the right direction. Everything looks fine for me at the moment, how we're treading along. So we'll just keep going that way. But anyway, if you got any value out of this video, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and click the bell notification so you get notified when I release my videos. And I'll see you in the next one.